What's going on, guys and gals? Stock Jock here, up $672 on the day, and I'm calling it a day. It has been really rough trading recently. Small cap stocks, there just hasn't been a lot of pop to the names. Usually they sell off pretty heavily, um, and there's just no follow through. So I'm happy to be up 672. Yesterday I was only up a couple $100s, so it's just been really slow recently, past couple weeks. I think the market is kind of getting exhausted on its kind of run here, and it just needs a healthy pullback. And I think a lot of the people are thinking the same. But let's go over the trades. The first one was PULM. This one, both the chat rooms that I'm in were watching this one. Um, the thing that we liked about it is you had this huge move. First, you had a move up, consolidation, and pop all the way back up to like $7. So this is a small cap stock that has shown in the past that it can run. So recently we've kind of tailed off here and just haven't seen that pop back up um, until yesterday. Yesterday, kind of out of nowhere, it found support right around this level, and it got a nice pop up here and to the 20-day. So out of the gates, it was kind of holding its own around the close of yesterday, and both groups were thinking as we're cracking over uh, yesterday's high that this would get some momentum and start moving. So that's kind of what we watched, and that was the first trade, right out of the gates. Um, I went long in the anticipation as uh, we were going to break that high. I went long at 425. We got a quick pop up, and then it kind of went down. Um, Quick pop up again. So I sold just on a quick scalp. I just didn't like the price action. I really thought that this this thing, here we are, this thing would just take off, but we got a huge drop and then a quick spike and came right back down to my bid or where I got in at. So the next quick pop up, I sold 3,000 shares, basically a 6 cent win, $150 ish, somewhere in there, 100, 180, 160, something like that. So it was a nice win to get some cushion on the day. I just didn't like the price action, so I took the scalp. And then I did end up playing that again moments later. Here you can see at 9:36 right here. The idea is you had this move up, consolidation, and as we're going, the first candle to make a new high on the 1 minute chart, which would be break of this candle right here. I went long at 441. We broke that candle, got a quick pop up, and I sold at 447. And it did get over 50, but it did not look like it wanted to. And it was kind of a false break. As soon as we broke 50 and hit 462 as the high, it just sold, 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 and it has just been down ever since. So, like I said, the market just if we were in a raging bull market right now, I really would have thought this would have started testing these highs up here. But again, you go green on the day and then go red and go really red. I mean, the market's just kind of exhausted, in my opinion, for small caps. SGY, this was kind of a news play that the chat rooms played. News came out that they were able to trade again, or they never stopped trading. It was some kind of positive bankruptcy news, whatever, if there is such a thing. Like they're coming out of Chapter 11, something blah 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 blah. Whatever. It's a stock that has been known to make runs in the past, as you can kind of see these spikes all over the place. So we had some kind of resistance here on the daily. So the news hit. We in the chat room, we played it for the break of 7. Where are we at? 942 right here. You can kind of see the volume come in. And inside this candle, I got long at 695 for the break of 7. We broke 7, but it just didn't rip right away like I wanted to. And I know this stock is as fast as it can go up, it can come back down. So, and as you can see that right here, I mean, golly, huge spike up and gave it all back. So, um, just played it safe. As soon as we cracked 7, I sold 6 cent, 5 cent win, 3,000 shares, another $150. So HPE was my next trade. This one I didn't do much with. Kind of a pop up. It was gapping down. You can see here it had some bad news or whatever. Uh, Pop up, maybe short covering out of the open, and then kind of sold and broke that VWAP pretty hard. And when it broke that VWAP, I was going to play it as it was coming up here to test the VWAP again in hopes that we would get the next move down. And so I went short right around here at 22.48. The VWAP is basically 22.50. Another reason for this to be resistance would be the 50 cent mark, and a lot of volume started to come in. It was a big battle for that 50 cent mark. It was bouncing between 22.49 and 22.50 for a good bit. A lot of volume was pouring through it. Finally, I was watching the L2, and the L2, the 22.50 side was losing, which is bad for me because I was short. So as soon as it looked like it was going to go, I covered for a 1 cent loss, 1,000 shares, $10, no big deal. And I was right because as soon as that happened, boom, it took off, went to 22.90, and that's kind of where it's at right now too. So there was just too much strength there, and it's good to have that L2 up so you can recognize it. So 10 cent loss, or I'm sorry, 1 penny loss on 1,000 shares, $10, no big deal. So PHMD, this one was a chat room play that we played because it was hitting our high of day scanner. It's a former runner. Look at all these spikes over here, so you know it can move. Um, I went long as soon as it was hitting the scanner, breaking high of day, broke it. Chat rooms were getting in it too. So 235 is when I got in, and quick spike up, then it came right back down. I was really hoping we would see the break at 250. I mean, especially when it hit 245, and I was like, all right, 250. But it just kept coming back down and coming back down. So I just sold basically a 1 penny win on 3,000 shares, $30. No big deal. But that's just one of those things that you got to recognize when to hold and when to fold. I was green on the name, and there's absolutely 0 point in going red on a trade after you've already been green. Zero. There's no point. Just sell it, and if it goes lower, and if you want to get back in, buy it again later. But there's no point in holding a stock and going red on it. So that's just my 2 cents. ZSAN was my next trade. I took 2,000 shares here. This was just a 5 minute candle over candle. Nice open, and then it was just kind of consolidating. Really beautiful 5 minute chart, in my opinion. Maybe it just came down too low to, from its base. That might have been the only thing. But as soon as we went candle over candle in the 5 minute, I went long. I got in at 271. We popped up, but then as this candle was opening, it just kind of went down on me, and I didn't like that. So I ended up bailing, and as soon as I bailed at 10:34 right here, the next candle we got the pop I was looking for, and the high of it was 280. So that would have been a 9 cent win, but instead I sold because the L2 was just getting hit, and I lost a penny on $20 on this trade, and whatever. But it didn't hold the moves, so I don't really feel too bad. It did get a quick pop, and I would have sold probably at 280 into that strength. And that again, these small caps, it's a trend continuing. There's no follow through on these names right now. And candle over candle in 5 minutes, first time it's to do that after a really big surge, and it doesn't get anything more than 10 cents, and then sells off the rest of the day. There's just no follow through right now. So cut it loose. Moved on. So DCIX was my next trade, and the reason why I took this one and actually put it on StockTwits is because right at this time, uh, Tops, Tops decided to take off. Out of nowhere, it goes from 225 and goes all the way to 260 in a very short span of time. So Tops had some really good news a few days ago, sent it all the way up to $5, and this is a very bearish chart to have it come all the way back down to where it closed previously before that news came out. I think it was a earnings report that sent it up that high. It's pretty bearish, but we did get candle over candle. Um, you know, if this was a really good move, I would have liked to have seen it consolidate up here. But nonetheless, Tops is a stock that can move in the past, and I've traded before. It's a low float stock. So when Tops started going crazy, I got into DCIX, and I got in at 257. Right in here, you can kind of see other people had the same idea because 20,000 shares of volume came in. And I was hoping tops would continue to take off because I think DCIX would have just gone crazy as well. DCIX is a shipping stock that can also move. And at the same time, DRYS, which is a company I will never trade ever unless I'm shorting it, also started to make moves. So you had two big name shippers, or not like the company's a big name, but in the trading world, traders are familiar with them taking off. So my idea was to play DCIX as a sympathy play. It hadn't moved yet. It hadn't started moving up yet either. And if shippers were going to go, I was going to be in DCIX. Well, soon as I got in, nothing really happened. Tops started to fizzle out. And I was watching. Uh, I didn't even have DCIX up on my screen here. I was watching tops, and as soon as tops looked like it was breaking down, I sold DCIX for a 2-cent loss, 3,000 shares, $60, and I held it for 9 minutes. But as you can see here, tops popped up, consolidated, and then we double topped. We couldn't get the momentum to go through, and that's what killed this thing. It was a technical breakout, so it's a technical breakdown. Um, Double topped it, and then for the rest of the day, boo. I mean, that's just not what you want to see. So as soon as it started to break down, I sold my shares of DCIX, and oh well. It didn't work out, but it was good risk management. I only lost 2 cents off it, no big deal. And, I was happy for it. YDKN was my last trade of the day. This one was a pure news play. This is again why you need a news source. If you're a day trader and you're new, there are two things you absolutely have to have, in my opinion. Number one, absolute number one, is a news source. Benzinga, Fly on the Wall, the Trade Exchange, whatever. The main one I use is Benzinga. I am a subscriber to it. I pay for it. So it's not like I'm getting freebies here. But again, it was breaking news. Benzinga reported it first. I actually have two um, news sources I listen to, but mainly I have only one up at a time, and Benzinga is the one that I mainly have up. And Benzinga reported that uh, YDKN, Yadkin Financial Corp, was being approved. Reuters was reporting the news that the buyout was being approved, and as soon as I heard that, I got in the stock at, what did I get in at? 33.03. So right here, and I got in basically 1 minute before the rest of the market decided. I mean, this is one of the few times that I actually got in before the stock decided to just take off. So we got a quick pop up, and I sold inside that pop. Sold half at 33.16, and the other half at 33.15. Then I went to Google to see how much the company is being bought out for, and it was 1.4 billion. Well, the market cap is 1.7 billion right now, so we're actually above the price that is being bought for. But so once I saw that, I was definitely getting out, not getting back in anytime soon. So that brought me to 672. I'm happy with that. Like I said, right now the plays are to scalp these suckers because the market is just kind of feeling exhausted right now, feeling heavy. The pops don't go very far and the drops do. So if you have any questions, you can always find me on Google Hangouts at StockJockAT. You can also find me on Twitter and StockTwits. A link down in the description below are to the two chat rooms that I subscribe to, as well as the news source that I use. If you're interested in Benzinga as your news source, if you use the coupon code StockJock, all one word, at checkout, you'll get 30% off any of your subscription. All right, y'all, I will see you in the next video.